Hi everybody! Today I have sort of a fun and silly project for you. I've been playing around with aluminum cans and I figured out a fun little way to make some buttons using the aluminum cans. So join me in the lab and I'll show you how I made these colorful domed buttons from beer and soda cans. So you're going to start with your flattened aluminum sheet or a small piece of aluminum, and if you need some tips on how I cut down my aluminum cans and flatten them and break them into the different parts that I use, I will link to a free mini course that I have that you can sign up for, and you can find some information on safety, how to take the tops off, a lot of different projects there as well. The other thing you're going to need is a circle hole punch, and I have this heavy duty one from Pick Punch. A lot of people have asked me about this, and I don't know if you can even find them anymore. I know you can still find the pick shaped punches, but I haven't been able to find the circle punch from Pick Punch recently. But don't worry, you can use any circle punch from, a Fisker punch or just a regular paper punch. I've used those on the aluminum before. And I'm just using a 1-inch circle punch. So I want to pick out kind of the pretty part of the can that I want to use. So I'm going to pick out this little green portion and just punch my hole. And it's very simple, and a regular paper punch should work just as smoothly as this heavier duty punch that I have. So you need 2 circles for each button. And the first one you want to have be the top, so you want to kind of worry about what it looks like. The other piece you can just punch anywhere on your metal, because I'm going to be using the aluminum side. So I have my decorative side and my aluminum side. For the top of my button, I'm going to be using my doming set to shape this circle piece into more of a domed shape. And you can find these dapping and doming tools on Amazon, a lot of different places. I'll put a link in the description for you if you're interested. So you can see there's a bunch of domed tools here in different sizes, and then you've got a block here with some different divots and cavities in it. I'm going to be using the largest hole to start with, and then I'll work my way down to 4 steps. So I'm going to be working all the way down to this domed shape at the end. And you'll notice it's going to be a little noisy, so I won't try to talk through it. But as I'm working, when I start in this largest hole, I'm going to be using my largest doming tool, and then I'll work down a couple of sizes. But the aluminum is a little bit, I don't think it's as soft as some of the other metals like copper. And when I first start out, you'll notice that there are definitely some crinkles and the piece can fold up. So you want to start out fairly gently when you're starting in this largest hole. So I'm going to take my largest dapping tool here. And like I said, I'm going to start very gently in the beginning here, because you can see already that the piece is folding a little bit. And don't worry about it. You don't want it to fold up too much on itself, but this first shape is not going to look like much. So I just want to kind of gently tap it until it conforms a little bit to the shape of the crevice here. And you kind of move the disc around so that you're not always just hammering straight down in the middle. You want to tap on the edges. And because I'm going to continue shaping it, I'm going to stop right here. So you can see there's quite a few ripples. It's not terribly nice shape yet, but I'm going to go down a size here to my next largest divot hole here, and I'm going to continue with this size 24 dapping tool, and I'm just going to continue shaping. And again, I'm not overly concerned with getting everything smooth because I'm going to continue working down a couple more sizes. So I'm going to go down one more size here, and I am going to switch to my size 23 now. And now I'm going to switch to my finishing hole here. Got to find it. And I'm going to go down one more size. And I am going to work a little bit longer in this shape hole because I do want to smooth out my edges as much as I can. So you can see now I've got a pretty nice dome shape. There's a few little wrinkles in the inside that you can see here, but it does finish pretty nicely once you go down to this, your finishing size. And for the bottom of the underside of the button, I'm going to be using the aluminum side, as I mentioned. And I'm just going to use my piercing tool. I've got a little pad here. And I want to punch a hole in the center of this piece. Now you could measure it out if you wanted to. It doesn't have to be perfect because you have a little bit of a edge on here, but you do want to get as close to the center as possible. And just pierce the hole through your metal. For this next step, I'm going to be using some 24 gauge wire and my round-tipped jewelry pliers. And you just want to cut a piece of wire that's about 2.5 inches long. You can measure it if you want to, but it's not really necessary. You can just eyeball it. And what I want to do with the piece of wire is I'm going to just sort of bend it in half. And then I want to place it on toward the bottom of my jewelry plier so I get a larger loop. And then I'm just going to cross the wires. And then I'm going to make a double loop. So I'm going to take the pliers out, put them back in, and wrap around the bottom one more time. And then I can twist the wires about 3 or 4 times. So that I have a little loop with some twisted wire. And I'm going to straighten out these the tips of the wire here so I can slide them through the hole of my metal piece here. And I just want to open these up so they will stay in place. And I'm going to go ahead and just coil these wires up. They don't have to look like anything. I'm just trying to get them out of the way because they need to fit kind of inside the domed piece of metal. So the pieces are going to fit together like this. And I don't want the metal wire sticking out, so I want it to fit inside this domed piece. So I've got a few of these ready to go here, and the next step is to take some hot glue. I've got my hot glue gun heating up here, and what I want to do is I want to fill all of my little domes with hot glue. And you can work on more than one at a time because your glue is going to stay plenty hot. And the trick here is that you want to get them full all the way to the top. You want just a little bit of glue to squeeze out when you put the two pieces together. So you can definitely overdo it and also underdo it. But if you try to get just kind of right to the top, that should be the right amount of glue. You can go ahead and just sort of set the pieces in the glue. But before you actually handle these, you're going to want to put some finger protection on, because this heats up the metal and it gets pretty hot to work with. So I just have these little finger protectors, and I'm going to go ahead and put them on. I'm not going to rush through this because the glue is going to stay plenty hot. All right. So the glue's been sitting here just maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up my first piece here. And you can see that it's not very centered, so I want to get it more centered on the back piece. And then I'm going to press the two pieces together, and hopefully a little bit of glue is going to squeeze out around the entire edge, because that will mean that you have a nice bond all the way around. And then I just want to carefully set it down until the glue cools off completely. So I'll just repeat that process on my other two buttons here. I'm going to slide this piece into the middle, press it down, getting all the edges tight together, and then carefully set it down. Don't worry if you get a little glue on your fingers or on the outside of the piece. What you want is just to make sure that you have your edges sealed together all the way around, and that you have the pieces fairly well centered. So my glue has cooled down here, and what I want to do is just take a pair of scissors, and I'm trimming off the excess metal from the back piece. And then if you need to, you can go ahead and kind of straighten out your little button loop and clean up any of the excess hot glue. So in some cases you may find that you don't get the edges completely sealed, like they're nice and tight right here, but over here you can see some of the hot glue. So if you have a silver Sharpie, or this is just a silver paint pen, you can carefully go around the edge just to make it look a little bit more tidy and finished. And I just kind of carefully go all the way around. And I think it makes it look just a little bit more finished. To finish off the buttons, I'm going to be using some UV resin, and I just have this little UV resin light. I'm going to be applying the resin in two steps. So the first step, I'm going to put a coat of resin on the back of this button, and I need to be able to hold it so that I can get the resin on there. So I'm just going to use some needle nose pliers, and I just want to kind of grab the loop here, and then I'm going to carefully just brush resin on the back side of this. And so I'm just brushing on a fairly thin coat. I don't want to have so much that it runs off. And I'm definitely not very experienced at getting all the bubbles out. I know you can use like a little lighter. I don't have one, so I'm just suffering through having a few bubbles. I'm not too worried because it's on the back of this. And then to apply the resin to the top part, I'm just grabbing the loop with my fingers here and brushing on a thin coat. If you want to, you can add an additional coat. I think in most cases one coat is enough. And I know somebody's going to ask me if these are going to be washable buttons, And I guess my answer would be that you could probably hand wash them, but I don't think you would want to put them in the dryer or the hot water, just because the hot glue will melt again, and I don't think, even with the resin, I'm not sure that that would be very secure. So I'm going to say not machine wash and dryable. So that's it for today's video. Be sure to check the description for more resources and a place to sign up to receive the Upcycled Design Lab newsletter. And if you enjoyed today's content, click that like button to let YouTube know that you'd like to see more content from the Upcycled Design Lab. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to click the subscribe button to join my YouTube community. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.